Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nida Rana. Welcome to my YouTube channel. First of all, please follow, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel. Today we will discuss our topic, and which is portfolio management. What is portfolio management? An investor considering investment in securities is faced with the problem of choosing from among a large number of securities. His choice depends upon the risk return characteristics of individual securities. He would to choose the most desirable securities. Again, he faced the problem of deciding which securities to hold and how much to invest in each. The investor faces an infinite number of possible portfolios or group of securities. The risk and return characteristics of portfolios differ from those who individual securities combining to from to portfolio. The investor tries to choose the optimal portfolio taking into consideration the risk return characteristics of all possible portfolios. Phases of portfolio management. Portfolio management is a process encompassing many activities aimed at optimizing the investment of one's fund. Five phases can be identified as this process. First, security analysis. Second, portfolio analysis. Third, portfolio selection. Fourth, portfolio revision. Fifth, portfolio evaluation. Risk. Meaning of risk. A person making an investment accepts to get some return from the investment in the future, but as future is uncertain, so is the future expected return. It is the uncertainty associated with the return from an investment that introduces risk into an investment. Risk can be defined in terms of variability returns. Risk is the potential for a variability in returns. An investment whose returns are early stable is considered to be high risk investment. The total variability in returns of a society represents the total risk of the security. Systematic risk and unsystematic risk are two components of total risk. Thus, total risk equal systematic risk plus unsystematic risk. Systematic risk. As the society is dynamic, changes occur in the economic, political, and social systems constantly. These changes have an influence on the performance of companies and thereby on their stock prices, but these changes affect all companies and all securities in every degrees. Thus, the impact of economic, political, and social changes is system wide, and that portion of total variability in security return caused by each system wide factors is referred to as systematic risk. Systematic risk is further subdivided into interest rate risk, market risk, and purchasing power risk. Unsystematic risk. When variability to returns occurs because of some specific factors, it is known as unsystematic risk. The unsystematic risk or unique risk affecting specific securities arises from two sources: A. The operating environment of the company, B. Financing pattern adopted by the company. These two types of unsystematic risk are referred to as business risk and financial risk respectively. Measurement of risk. The variance and standard deviation measures the extent of variability of possible returns from expected return. Several other measures such as range, semi-variance, and mean absolute deviation have been used to measure risk, but standard deviation has been the most popularly accepted measure. The systematic risk of a security is measured by a statistical measure called beta. The input data of returns for the calculation of beta are the historical data of returns of the individual security as well as the returns of a representative stock market index. Two statistical methods may be used for the calculation of beta, namely the correlation method and regression method. Using the correlation method, beta can be calculated from the historical data of returns by the following formula: beta equal R, where R equal correlation coefficient between the returns of stock I and the returns of the market index. Sigma I equal standard deviation of returns of stock equals standard deviation of returns of the market index equal variance of the market returns. Measurement of portfolio analysis. Expected return of a portfolio. As a first step in portfolio analysis, an investor needs to specify the list of securities eligible for selection or inclusion in the portfolio. Risk of portfolio. The variance or risk of a portfolio is not simply a weighted average of the variance of the individual securities in the portfolio. The relationship between each security in the portfolio with every other security as measured by the covariance of return has also to be considered. The variance of a portfolio with only two securities in it may be calculated with the following formula: reduction of portfolio risk through diversification. The process of combining securities in a portfolio is known as diversification. The aim of diversification is to reduce total risk without sacrificing portfolio return. Security returns perfectly positively correlated. When security returns the perfectly positively correlated, the correlation coefficient between the two securities will be +1. The return of the two securities then move up or down together. The portfolio variance is calculated using the formula. Feasible the set of portfolio. With a limited number of securities, an investor can create a very large number of securities. An investor can create a very large number of portfolios by combining these securities in different proportions. These constitute the feasible set of portfolios in which the investor can possibly invest. This is known as each possible portfolio in the opportunity set of portfolios has an expected returns and standard deviation associated with it. Each portfolio would be represented by a single point in the risk return space enclosed within the two axes of the graph. The shaded R in the graph represents the set of all possible portfolios that can be constructed from a given set of securities. This opportunity set of portfolios take a concave. At the end, please follow, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.